Hey everyone, it's Perseus the Bookworm here. If this looks like I filmed the videos back to back, that's because I did. And once again, I'm in my PJs because I can't be bothered changing. So, today I'm going to be talking about the two books that made me cry. If you watched the previous two videos, I've explained what these two books are. The thumbnail might be wrong because this was made way before I was meant to film it, like last year, back when I actually read one of these books. It just never happened because I procrastinated and university got in the way. So now it's two books rather than one. But I might start off with the first one that made me cry because that was the original one that made me cry. It was the first one that ever made me cry, ever. Because books don't normally make me cry. It's normally shows and movies that made me cry because it's more common for me because I actually see it visualized. But then the first book that made me cry had an impact, and that book was You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thau. I begun this in like February of last year and then finished it in April. It took me so long to read because I started it a few weeks before uni started. Uni got in the way and then it became harder to continue reading it. But I got there in the end. Now, if you don't know what this is about Julia, no, not Julia, Julie, who lost her boyfriend Sam to a car incident and she wants to hear his voice one more time. So she rings his number in hopes to hear his voicemail so that way she can hear his voice for the final time. But what she didn't expect was that he would pick up because obviously he's dead. How would he have been able to pick up? But somehow he picks up with his ghost. And they kind of come to this theory together that the reason why he was able to pick up was because they can get their final goodbye to each other. And they have like a limited amount of phone calls that they can do before they have to say goodbye. So she uses her one final phone call to say goodbye. Yeah. I guess I actually know why this made me cry. It's because in 2015 I had lost my granddad in January. Then a few months later I had lost my horse. I did not get to say goodbye to them because they had both passed. Well, my granddad passed overnight and then my horse had to be put down because throughout the night because he had colic, and despite the vet's efforts he wasn't getting better with it. So I didn't get to say goodbye to either my horse or my granddad. And before people ask like why is that so personal to me, mainly due to the horse. For context in terms of that, I know this is going off topic, but I thought I'd give context anyway. The reason why I got so sad over the horse, because not only was he a pet of mine, but because I got him because of my granddad. Because my granddad had a riding school that he shut down, and I got to keep one of the horses because my mum didn't want to get paid for working there. So I got to keep one of the horses. He might have not been the original horse I wanted because there was other ones I wanted. I still grew to love him in the end, even though I only got to keep him for 5 years. Those 5 years I spent with that horse was great. And not getting to say goodbye to him did upset me. Hence why You've Reached Sam gave me that hard hitting ending. And the same goes with my granddad. I never got to say goodbye to him in the end. And I guess this book kind of shows me you don't know what's going to happen quite literally overnight. Because, like I said, my granddad passed overnight and my horse was put down overnight. So you don't know how much time you have left with someone before they pass or they go away. And I guess, like I said, and I've kept reiterating, saying goodbye to someone is important, and me not getting to say goodbye to two people, one person, one horse, is all it took for me to realise that. To kind of realise that you don't know. So yeah, I cried, tears actually came out of my eyes. And Mum and I agreed that maybe I should because of this book, I should take a step back from reading for a bit. Because it was that hard hitting that I did not want to read another book for a little while. I think it was like 2 weeks before I got into another book. Or maybe a bit longer. So yeah, Yeah, so Dustin Thau definitely knows how to make you cry. Thanks, Dustin. Now, as again, if you've seen my last two videos, this is the second book that made me cry. Though I read it much later in the year. I think I started it in October because I had more time on my hands because uni had like just finished around that time. I think it was like coming up to exams that time. Now, because it was a course that I'm doing, exams aren't a thing because it's under humanities and you don't get to do exams. Don't quote me on like in other um parts of the world that have universities and offer humanities. I know in Australia or specifically WA, if you do humanity something that's under humanities, so like creative writing and all that, you don't do exams. You might like if you do screen arts. Again, I'm off topic, but if you do screen arts, you do have I think viewings if you have to do something that has to be viewed to the rest of the people who are doing that unit. Anyway, back to the video. This, yeah, again, what kind of led to that was that I started this book, All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven, when exams were being held onto place. And I had time, so I started reading this. Again, if you've seen my last two videos, you will know that I don't know how to explain this book other than with what's been up here, which is the story of a girl who learns to live from a boy who wants to die. So this is about Theodore Finch and Violet Markey kind of saving each other from the school edge, and they kind of learn things from each other, mainly like how Violet learns from Theodore to live, and how you shouldn't really reminisce on the past, on what happened, because like, spoiler, because of Theodore, because of Finch, she learns to get back into a car, because her sister passed away due to a car accident. So she learns to get back into a car. And she learns to have these things what they consider wanderings, where you go look around the environment around you, look at some of the things that your state has to offer. Because I think like for them, for their state, I forgot what the state was, but they had like the highest point. They had this tree that these pairs of shoes would be tied up at the laces and hung over the branches. So yeah. Now, again, spoiler, Theodore commits unaliving himself by going into one of the wonders that they wandered a while ago, which I think it was called the Blue Hole or the Deep Hole. It was the something hole, and he, from what it seems like, from what I understood, he dives into the hole and basically refuses to come up for air. Therefore, having a lack of oxygen and him unaliving and passing away. Now, I haven't personally been affected by this kind of thing, but I do know people who have, and I guess it's just like, what happens if I lost someone to that? What if I lost my mum to that? Even though she doesn't have those thoughts. What if I lost a friend to that because of something else? Yeah. And I guess what you can take away from this book specifically is that don't live in the past kind of thing. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors to someone else, because with Theodore Finch, not a lot of people saw what's going on behind the scenes. Specifically like what's been going on at home, things like that. Yeah, and you don't know what someone's internal thoughts are and how, I guess kind of like in the 13 Reasons Why, like, well not really, because that had different things in it. But I guess like one thing you can take away from Theodore Finch is that not everyone presents the wanting to unalive themselves. Not everyone makes it obvious that they want to do it, because I'm gonna bring it back to, cause like I know that autism is nothing like unaliving, but there is some things that present that stereotype between autism and unaliving. The one thing that I will cross-lap over the two, sorry, you're on a chair, I will say is that there is, between unaliving and autism, there's no way to look either. Like, no one looks, you don't know if someone wants to, what am I trying to say? Basically, no one presents themselves as wanting to unalive. no one presents themselves as autistic. There's some people hide it, some people do show it. Some people might in between. They might might show a little bit of looking like it, but not completely. Yes, so that's what I picked up off this book, was that you don't know what's going on behind closed doors, don't dwell on the past, you don't know what someone's internal thoughts are, that kind of thing from it. So yeah. So both of these books have had a big impact on me. They both have made me cry for certain reasons. This one because I didn't get to say goodbye to my granddad and my horse. This one because it made me think, what if I lost someone to suicide? To someone unaliving. That kind of thing. Yeah, so those are the two books that made me cry. Is there gonna be a book that makes me cry in the future? I can't say, because it's kind of like a guessing game, I would say, at this point, because it all depends on the characters. Do I get attached to them? Does it make me think like these two books did, like these two did? With shows, it's kind of in books and movies, because like with shows, I think there's always been at least one time I cried because of it. Whether because like it's a character I like, it's always a character I like that gets offed. With movies, I say it's like TV shows for me. There's not always not every movie makes me cry, but it's always like it depends. There's a character like get offed, kind of thing. So yeah, I might post this video later than the other one that I just filmed. I might like post on Friday or Saturday or something. I don't know what video I'm gonna do next. I might do a challenge or something, it might be harder because I just reorganized my shelves as well, which is, I guess, is a good thing. So yeah, guess this video like if you liked it. Give a subscribe if you want more book content from me, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.